Ladies and gentlemen, welcome you all to the session of panel discussion on the topic for proliferation of EV and renewable energy, path towards a greener and sustainable future. We are greatly honored to introduce our panel members, Professor WDS Vijayapala, Professor University of Moratuwa, Sri Lanka, Dr. Avik Bhattacharya, Associate Professor, IIT Roorkee, Dr. N.K. Swami Naidu, Assistant Professor, IIT BHU. For this panel discussion, the role of moderators will be played by Professor C.K. Chanda, Professor IIEST Sipur, TPC Chair, ICSPCRE 2024, Professor Prabhat Kumar Rai, Professor NIT Rourkela, General Chair, ICSPCRE 2024, and the session will be coordinated by Dr. Arnab Ghosh, Assistant Professor, NIT Rourkela, Organizing Secretary, ICS PCRE 2024. May I request the respective members to kindly join the panel discussion.
What is their name? N.K. Swami Naidu. I just give the detailing of the names. No?
N.K. Swami Naidu. Swami Naidu. IIT BHU, Banaras.
Yeah.
Another is Dr. Avik Bhattacharya.
They are in online. Avik from?
IIT Roorkee. They will run online.
Online, okay. Topic is this proliferation. I wrote it, no?
Yes.
Good afternoon, Professor N.K. Swami Naidu from BHU, IIT, and Dr. Avik Bhattacharya from IIT Roorkee. Am I audible, sir?
Yes. Am I audible?
Yeah, you are highly audible. Yes, sir.
You are audible, sir.
Okay. And what about Dr. Bhattacharya?
Swami Naidu.
Swami Naidu, yeah.
Swami Naidu. Dr. Swami Naidu, am I
Dr. Swami Naidu?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You are audible.
Yes. Okay, sir. Thank you so much. So, good afternoon to all of you. So, our today's topic is, for this panel discussion, proliferation of EV and renewable energy towards a greener and sustainable future. This is our topic of discussion today. Whenever you talk about EV, and I do not know how much we have proliferated in this domain in India, but we are thinking in that line, then obviously the renewable energy comes. If we charge the battery EV through a classical energy, it does not make any sense. So, proliferation of EV and renewable energy, they go hand by hand. They have to go hand by hand. So our today's topic is this proliferation of electrical vehicles and renewable energy. So Professor Sami Naidu, if you share something about this regarding this topic to our audience. Say Sami Naidu, please, about this topic.
Good afternoon to all the panelists.
Sir, you are having kind of presentation or you will discuss?
No, I think just discussion. I thought.
Okay, that is good. Okay, great. Go ahead, sir.
Good afternoon to all the panelists and Dr. Avik and Dr. and some others. Uh, in this, uh, the penetration of renewables, it's it means now the cost wise it's not so uh, difficult problem to proliferate or rather integrate, but how will be the means after integrating to the grid, how our grid can manage, how our grid will uh, take it, and how your it means as of now we don't have that much means the percentage if you compare the percentage wise it's not so high. So as of now it is okay, but in future it's not the case. I think have to go uh, more than 50% at any cost, like in future days. That may create some problems in the grid stability and grid disturbances and all these things. So we have to take care properly, like because all these renewables are very much uncertain. We never know when it's there, when it is not there. It's also depends upon weather and other conditions. So we should be, there should be proper study is required now before it increase its percentage. Uh, um, Now the concepts like grid forming inverters are coming. Maybe that may be little bit uh, to increase the grid inertia, because as we are going with all these our electronic based renewable sources, then the grid inertia is reducing because the synchronous emissions, reduce and synchronous emissions are the percentage is coming down. So there is a need to increase the its inertia just by artificially or some other ways. I feel like we can go for more. The first option may be increasing battery energy storage system. That may be a backup, but the problem is like the cost nowadays. Now it's not manageable to have this battery energy storage systems. In future, maybe it may be in coming days. Now if you see the even the PV cost it is reduced drastically, and also the energy storage system also the cost may come down in future. We expect that in future. And also whatever the power electronics you are integrating, better you should operate it as a grid forming mode rather than grid following mode, so that you can provide some of the inertia to the grid. Uh, um, it's like you have these are the two. Maybe we can go ahead. The others, I think, I welcome the others' ideas, and then we can discuss afterwards.
Thank you, Professor Naidu. Your delivery is over.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, thank you, Naidu, for your beautiful points you have raised. I will discuss later on. Now I am requesting Professor Bhattacharya to say a few words about this topic.
I share one PPT, small
Yeah,
PPT.
yeah.
So just I think it is visible.
It's visible.
Uh,
It is visible.
okay, so I just I'm showing you one PPT that is essentially the electric vehicle cells and the battery pack cost. So there are few uh, look, till now electric vehicle in Indian perspectives uh, is just a fashion show. It is not that the common dress will put in. So somebody having an electric vehicle, now it is a fashion statement. Unfortunately, we fail to yet popularize the electric vehicle. So thus we are not anticipating the challenges once we have a lot of electric vehicle into the system. So one of the challenges that which we have wanted to talk today, that is about of course, most of our generations are the coal fire systems. 60% of the energy comes from the coal, and then if we are charging the same entity, same power to charge the battery, then definitely we are shifting to the carbon footprint from road to the power plant. We require to put more thermal power plant. So that's not a solution. Ultimately, it will cause the global warming. Another solution definitely to integrations of the renewable energy, more and more renewable energy. But definitely the challenge lies as once we cut down the percentage of the thermal energy, we also cut down the electrical inertia. So that has to be addressed. So challenges is not only the carbon footprint. If you challenge is that if we retain the thermal power plant, then the basic objective is defeated. We don't get the desired results of reducing the carbon footprint. If we try to integrate the more solar or the renewable energy, then we will face the challenge of the lower inertia, lower electric inertia. So we require to challenge holistically that electrical inertia as well as the systematic cut down of the thermal power plant. So that aspect definitely that we have a challenges, and for this reasons, we have a solutions like virtual improvement on the virtual inertia, and thus the storage comes into the picture. Then the electric vehicles itself can play a vital role in it. If we set for the B2G and the G2P, grid to vehicle and vehicle to grid charging. Like in my Kolkata, I have an apartment in PS Panache. I insisting on it then for a long time for that mechanism. So there are 5,000 cars, and I have checked it. Only 20% car is not available in the campus. Rest of the car is generally available in the peak hours. Once there is if the car is charged from the solar, and then they can use that energy for the shedding the peak power demand or the load shedding, definitely we will save a lot of carbon footprint. So it fits for the society, definitely. And gradually that can be extended to a city. In a office places, in a newly positioned green city. So if we integrate those things, I think that this will be the uh, challenge in future. I just wanted to show one slides so that these are the batteries used for the car batteries. Unfortunately, one of the challenges is that we don't have a battery storage in the level of the megawatt. So for this, that is also the area of the research that we require to be looking into and suitable alternatives. And also one of the challenges that most of the lithium mine strategically taken by the China. So we require to see the solution beyond lithium. That is something that we require to see, and we wanted to have a sodium-based solutions. So because we have a sea in our we have an Indian Oceans, we have a ocean in our name, so in our country's name. So we should actually focus on the solutions that is non-lithium solutions. I know there are challenges of the energy densities, there are many challenges, but then we can kill the dependency. And once we develop the technology of our own, definitely, and the recycling process can be integrated in India, definitely we can reduce the drastically cost of the system. So one of the reasons that the battery prices is more because the no recycling has not yet done in India, and it is imported, and then mostly it is assembled. Then we require to refurbish, and then again it is sent back to the Taiwan or China. So that adds up the huge cost of the transportation, that are the huge cost of we require to find the proper mechanism of the recycling of this lithium. Then also we can reduce the cost of the storage, and we can get effective solutions for the increasing the virtual inertia. I thus now pause here. Then I over to the Professor Chandru to take the discussion in forward.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Bhattacharya. Beautiful delivery and discussion. We have touched upon a lot of good important points regarding EV. I'll discuss later on. I'll sum up all the points later on. So next, yeah, Professor Wajibullah, please.
You can use this one.
You can use this one.
Good afternoon, everyone. So I would like to say a few words on this, on the renewable proliferation and the EVs from the customer point of view, from the user point of view. So if you take an example, that most of these days, the many distributed generators are coming in the distribution feeders. They are really they are becoming prosumers. So the prosumers are sometimes selling electricity to the utility or their suppliers at a fixed rate or whatever the rates they are offered, or else they are banking their electricity into the system through net metering. So if you are really a EV user, then it makes a lot of sense, as I have personally experienced. You net meter your renewable generation and then use the same energy for your own car's charging. For example, in Sri Lankan context, the rates paid by the utility for rooftop solar is about 25 Sri Lankan rupees per unit, per kilowatt hour. So, but without selling it at 25 rupees, if I bank it with the utility through the net metering scheme, then I can take it back, I can pump it into the system and take it back as and when I want. So if I charge my car using 1 kilowatt hour without selling at 25 rupees, I can run 6 kilometers from that unit. So if I run that 6 kilometers with petrol, it costs in Sri Lankan context at least about 150, 160 rupees. Now I am selling every kilowatt hour to myself at 150 rupees instead of selling that unit at 25 rupees to the utility. So that is fast recovering my investment on my rooftop and my EV, my battery. So make a lot of sense. So I think for the proliferation of this renewable and EV, so this is a good model because economic sense is the most important thing. So I think for the future, so the customers must be educated, that the users must be educated, use EVs in conjunction with their rooftops and use the electricity wisely, and then encourage utilities to give reasonable net metering arrangements so that the all are win-win solutions. Then I would like to also to draw to the fact that that these battery technologies, earlier we thought as they came in into early 2012 and so on, that the batteries will not last long because EV batteries were not reliable. No one knew their life. But for example, Nissan Leaf, I think they put their cars into their domestic market in 2009 and to the international market maybe 2 years later. And my car is a Nissan Leaf 2013 model. And you can see still it was originally 224 kilowatt hour battery, but now after say 10 years plus usage, it still has 8 kilowatt hours, 1/3 left behind. So after you can say 10 years operation, but normally the lithium ion technology may be about 2000 cycles is the guaranteed, though whatever the earlier mentioned values for the customers to rely upon. But my one has now gone for 2300 cycles charging, both through charging as well as quick charging. But you can see still then after 10 years it has 1/3 capacity left. So not so bad. And now the new technology has come, lithium ferrous phosphate batteries, which they claim to have 4000 plus cycles lifetime. And also the prices have become as that was shown in the previous diagrams. The prices have slumped down to 50%. So by over the last 10 years. So you can see it is, I think, bright future, but I think the countries must make, I think, the good, policy decisions to encourage the penetration of EVs. And then one problem the car users face all over the world is how to find, replacement batteries once the age is gone. So these things have not been properly addressed. I think for the future, these things should be addressed, and also the charging infrastructure has to be developed so that we can conveniently charge the cars wherever we go. I think those are the things that the policy decision makers should make up, and then only the EVs can take up the role they should be playing in order to curtail this global warming and all these issues by coal generation and all these things. And I'm happy to say, so I can call myself a green man because my full traveling is on, almost 80% of my traveling is on my own generation from rooftop. So I'm happy about that. So we must make similar, concepts in the society so the people will turn more and more into green energy, electric vehicle usage, so that at the end of the day, we can meet these targets of net zero and so on by 2050 and so on. But I think a concerted effort is required. Thank you. Professor Chandan.
Thank you, Professor Wajipallo. He had shared his personal experience as well as he talked about EV and all that. And next, Professor Prabhat Kumar Ray. Yes, please, Professor Ray.
Good afternoon, all the panelists. Regarding proliferation of renewable energy and EVs, so now we should discuss regarding what are the challenges and how you can find out its solution. So now imagine our grid is having so many renewable energy sources and EVs also connected. So first thing that will come into our mind is when so many renewable energy sources are connected, then regarding the intermittency issue, how to solve that one. For example, when PV is connected to grid, then in order to solve its intermittency issue, we have to go for forecasting technique. So again, forecasting technique is for different types. So maybe it is model based or maybe it is image based. So now people are moving on to image based forecasting for more accuracy. For example, if today at 10:30 a.m. the irradiance is this much, so after half an hour, what should be our irradiance? So if now the thick cloud covers the sun, this much is the irradiance. So after 1 hour, what is the movement of cloud and which portion of cloud will cover the sun, whether thick cloud, thin cloud, or clear sky? Based on that, what is our irradiance? So if you know the irradiance this much, then we can forecast what is our generation from the PV. So accordingly, we will adjust other generation like that. So this is one of the issues, the forecasting. Another issue is the power quality improvement. So that is a very acute problem. So when so many renewable energy sources are connected to the grid through power electronics converter, then our power quality deteriorates. So we should frame or we should have control how to improve the power quality. Another thing is when we talk about our energy storage system, so energy storage system connected to grid, so we should have a more flexibility in the charge discharge control. So that's why we have to go for that power electronics based transformer through different controllers, or say power electronic based controllers also. Another thing is regarding when renewable is there, our storage devices are there, our EV is there, then to meet a particular load demand, so who will share how much power, that power management we should also take into account. And another thing is regarding demand response management. So for example, at 10 a.m. we want to use our washing machine. And so for example, at that time, the price is high. So I may lose my comfort. I may use in the night time or or maybe 10:30 or something night time, so that the price is less. So that type of demand response management is required. And another worry to me is that when so many EVs are connected to the grid, then when with the V2G communication or V2G mode, vehicle to grid mode, then if our generation become very high, because our generation at that time, our generation, we don't know, generation is in uncertain, our, and when PV will take load, when EV will take load, that also we don't know. So load is uncertain. So for example, if generation is more, then whatever protection scheme we have used now, whether we have improved that one or how much we have to improve, that is a question mark again. Then whether the government will fix any guideline or threshold, this much generation we can take from a vehicle or like that. So these are the different question mark, how to solve that we may discuss also. So these are from my side. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Professor Prabhat Roy, for your beautiful explanation. No. Okay. Thank you so much for your active participation in this panel discussion. As a moderator, let me sum up all the points from different speakers. Let me start with Professor Shami Naidu. He has beautifully explained, and what he has covered today, that renewable energy variability. In fact, we all call renewable energy this water-based generation, whatever. Nowadays, in a lot of literatures and textbook, we find VG, variable generation. He wanted to mean variable generation, and other issues are there. He also talked about smart charging. Charging is not enough for EV. He wanted to emphasize smart charging mean very fast charging, and what are its implications he wanted to mean. And if you go for a smart charging, what are the challenges and barriers faced by the EV? He has pointed out very nicely those points. And again, he has emphasized grid forming mode rather than grid following mode. That is really a very, very important issue. He mentioned somewhere else regarding the inertia, and to mitigate the inertia. In fact, in my last keynote speech, I wanted to cover a little bit about grid forming mode. He really said it's very, very important issue. Grid forming mode can mitigate this issue up to a certain extent, apart from other control mechanism that you have nicely pointed out. So thank you, Sheriff, for your very, very good explanations on this topic. It's a really new topic. And thank you so much, Professor Shami Naidu. Now, let me come to Professor Ovik Bhattacharya from IIT Roorkee. So, Professor Bhattacharya, Subho Operanno, I am a Bengali, and Shubho Dupur Apnake. You have touched upon very interesting points. Really, you talked EV in India's perspective rather than it is a fashion statement. That is true. As an old man, I also personally completely agree with your first idea. It has become a rather fashion statement rather than utilization. Again, there are a lot of important challenges as EV are there. Initially, that we have already talked. I will talk my views later on. So that's really an important issue of the key challenges of EV. And next is shifting of carbon footprint. I fully agree with you. If you use this charging part of this EV using the traditional energy, classical energy, I mean, by burning fossil fuel like coal and diesel or petrol, whatever it may be, we are simply shifting the carbon footprint from urban area to the power plant area. Absolutely, the way we do in a what should I overbridge in a city, we simply shift the congestions from one point to other point. That's all. There is not a state cut solution of putting over bridges or flyover bridges in a city. That kind of situation you have rightly pointed out, and I fully agree, and maybe other panel members agree this. That's very, very important, because this renewable energy has to go hand by hand with this charging. V2G technology, that's really very, very important concept for enhancing the inertia that I missed during my delivery. V2G is really back to grid. Whatever is available during that time, if you can able to give back certain amount during the demand time, that in fact comes under demand side management scheme. So V2G technology, not G2V, is very, very important aspect that you have touched upon, and we all agreed upon that point, and that is this. Then battery storage in a large scale is a very, very important issue. I do agree, we are talking about storage. There are a lot of research going on across India and across globe, but storing not in the terms of 100 megawatt or gigawatt is not feasible. So there is a huge, huge amount of research is going on in the storage side that you have rightly pointed out, sir. It's very, 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 very pertinent point you have touched upon. We have to see beyond lithium ion. You have talked about the material of this. Lithium ion, yes. Lithium ion, still today we use lithium ion, but we have to go beyond lithium ion cells, because lithium ion cells are having a lot of challenges. And let me tell you one point regarding this. If we talk from India's perspective, we do not have a lithium reserve. In fact, few months back, I got an information it is available in J&K side, but that is very minimum. We finally try to get lithium from China side, and they sell this lithium in a very expensive manner. So you have to think some other from research point of view and from application and utility point of view. You are rightly, Professor Bhattacharya mentioned it. That you have seen beyond, you have to see lithium ion and all that. And recycle issue is really very, very important issue. Nowadays, we are creating the space waste. And I am in the same tune of your idea. If we use lithium-ion battery and other kinds of battery for utilizing purpose in electrical vehicle, maybe within 35, 40 years, whole Sahara desert will be full of lithium-ion battery and waste material. And anyway, we are extracting renewable energy from sun. We are extracting renewable energy. We are utilizing in terms of lithium-ion. Again, we are inviting another problems, and our future kids and generation would able to live if the half of the planet gets covered by the wasted batteries and all that. So we have to go for a recycle. That's a very, very important and pertinent point you have mentioned, sir. Thank you so much for your active participation in this. Now let me come to Professor Vijay Pala. He has in fact shared his real life experience that we enjoyed a lot. He has discussed from user point of view and consumers. In fact, he is having his own scheme in his rooftop. That is a very interesting thing. He talked about his personal experience in Sri Lanka. Almost, if I have never visited Sri Lanka, but I personally feel the culture and all that almost similar, 95% and similar. So when he talked about this IC-based engine, this internal combustion-based engine, he had switched himself by generating renewable energy in the rooftop, and that needs a kind of mindset, because I personally feel solar energy is not a satellite science. This is available in the market, and the lifespan of the solar panel in the tune of 25 years, if I'm not wrong, even though the efficiency of the panel still today is 15 to 20%, commercial panel, not the research panel. Research panel, they show 45%, 50% efficiency, but commercially only 15 to 16% efficiency. So the question is, if we use these rooftop panels And it's a question of just awareness and mindset and using the controller. If you tap the power and if you utilize it, and we teachers, the salary we get, we can really afford it, but mindset is different. If we get the easily thermal based power, it comes in our doorstep. Why should I put the rooftop panel on the roof and will go with so much complication? But the science is not a satellite science. It's very simple science. Put rooftop panel, use controller, use some stored battery, extract the power, charge the battery, and that's all, as simple as that. So whatever he has emphasis is very, very important, pertinent to us, the awareness and mindset. It's very important point here. He has talked about net metering scheme also, that is very, very important. Application of rooftop from economic sense, yes, we can, if we use rooftop, we are not indirectly, directly are improving the quality of the air, what we breathe. That is the point. Not only we are improving the quality of the air, at the same time, we can save our money up to a certain extent. So both way benefits. We are saving our pockets money. At the same time, we are improving the quality of the air, reducing the greenhouse effects. That he emphasized, and he is doing in his own hand. It's a practical exposure. So lifespan of battery, he has talked a very interesting information he has given. Lithium-ion battery, you'll know, generally go with a 2000 to 2100 cycles, but in spite of using a 6 miles in a day, still he is using after 10 years that lithium-ion battery and is able to utilize 1/3 of its capacity. That's a very interesting information. And that, so that is a kind of recycling. And whatever lithium material we get from China, so far I know, once I talked to Bhubaneswar IIT professor, they're working in this direction a lot. We almost forget the recycled material you get from, not the fresh material. After using 10 years, that I have already shared this huge information, and 80% of travel in each country in his own generation. That's a very good and great information to us. Now let me come to Professor Ray, Prabhat Kumar Ray. He has emphasized a lot of important points regarding the challenges and solutions, because challenges will be there. Till our last breath, we have to face the challenge. That is always there. But finally, we have to seek the solutions also. The solutions, what we can accept. A lot of solutions are available theoretically, but in real life, we have to find out the solution, and emphasis the real life solution, not in pen and paper and research level. He has emphasis, we have to find out. Then he has mentioned intermittency issue. That's very, very important issue when you talk about solar energy and wind energy. But we are really we are really, what should I say, God is kind enough to us. Wind, even though it flows throughout the day, 24 round the clock you get it, but wind generally blows or flows more in the evening time, in the night time than the daytime. So it is complementary. Sun is available in the daytime, in evening time onward sun is not available, but we get wind in a better way. So God is kind enough. He has given both the things in a very nice complementary fashion. So, and the interesting part of this wind, and there not only the intermittency effect is there, stochastic effect is there, variable, there the magnitude of that generation is again a difficult issue. In case of a solar energy, the setting effect and all that. So here he emphasizes lot of algorithm, lot of techniques are available, but he has precisely emphasized on image processing technique. That's really beautiful technique, the advanced technique, and with the help of image processing technique, if you can take the snap of the image of the cloud, and if we can use this idea, we'll able to handle the situation, can manage this very nicely. And another bit is demand side response management is very, very important. But in my lecture, demand side management is one aspect. There are 7 or 8 aspects. The technical aspect, another aspect. Let me explain here. The awareness aspect is very, very important. Even though if they can enhance the price from 12 o'clock to 4 o'clock by any private provider, if I am having the money, I least bother to that idea, I'll use washing machine. So he has given an example of washing machine. If you can shift the use of utility of washing machine from daytime to mid time, and if the washing machine nowadays coming in the market, Bosch, and they're coming with all AI technique. At least I do not know what is there inside it. At least in outside in digital display, there's so AI based washing machine. So we can use AI based washing machine, we'll able to handle this situation nicely. So, and V2G mode already described and elaborated. That's a very important issue. And V2G mode, not only from the inertia point of view, it also helps the protection schemes here, the emphasis, and government has to fix up the regulatory schemes regarding this. Government has to take care of all this. It's not that by 30 you have to penetrate 30-40% EVs and all that. This is okay in one side, but at the same time, in other hand, government has to frame a lot of government regulation, guidelines and protocols to really cope up with these challenges. So this is all about of these panel discussions. Let me tell as a moderator few points now regarding this thing. We have to. EV is fine. We are all talking about EV, and that's really a proliferation of EV in today's world. And in fact, Australian USA, their penetration in the tune of 40 to 50%. There are a lot of advantages. Air pollution quality will be very good. Air quality will be good. We'll able to eliminate the pollution, greenhouse effect. That's another important point. Of course, everything is possible by using renewable energy. But at the same time, one point I want to add, it can create new kind of job creation also. With the charging station, we need thousands and thousands of people. For maintenance of EV, it is a new technology. Even though in a EV there is a less number of rotating parts, rather zero number of rotating parts, friction, wear and tear is very, very less, but still it needs maintenance. So those are the important issues. And if we talk from our country's perspective and unemployment situation, it gives a new dimension in our country. Lot of employment will come from this EV penetration or proliferation of. Another important aspect I noted down, the future outlook regarding this. We are all talking about electrical. In fact, the science has advanced in such a way, we are talking about electric aviation also. If electrical vehicle can, why not electrical flight? In fact, the science is moving in that direction. Two important things in the flight they are going. One is electric aviation fully. If we think this is diesel, petrol, aviation oil is finite in nature, contributing huge amount of footprint. So we have to think, we have to extend our idea beyond electrical vehicle, electric aviation. And for that reason, in spite of huge area for landing and taking of the flight, they are using a new control strategy. Professor Ray, Professor Orno, who's there, they're all the good researcher and senior professors over here, show cat landing of the flight. The flight will come and they'll come down to the land like a cat. It need not require 10-15 kilometers of space in the runway or taxiway. So a lot of new features are coming because of this renewable energy and the storage system. So let me conclude with this, with my idea. Then we'll go with a combine this. In conclusion, the proliferation of electrical vehicles and renewable energy represents a transformative shift towards a greener and more sustainable future. By leveraging technological innovation, supportive policies, that is very, very important, what Professor Ray emphasized again and again from the government side. A lot of initiative has to be given in initial phase. Global collaboration is required for that. Society can mitigate climate change impacts. Whenever I go and talk about the climate change is like a science. If we know V is equal to IR is Ohm's law, Australia people know and American peoples know. So science does not know any boundary. Similarly, pollution does not know any boundary. If I say the pollution of our country is this, it does not mean this pollution will not cross boundary to Sri Lanka side. So pollution is a global issue. We talk about the global warming, but whenever you talk about the pollution, we talk about the pollution with respect to our country, but this is not that. But pollution does not follow any country's border. There is no border on the top of the sky. So that's very, very important issue you have to take care of. Supportive policies across globe, not from our government. Global collaboration is very, very important. Society can mitigate climate change impacts. Our already Professor Pala is doing his own and give a lot of social impact, improve air quality, create economic opportunities in terms of job opportunities. However, overcoming challenges such as infrastructure development, battery battery technology limitations that already Professor Bhattacharya told, the size of the battery and capacity. A regularity body will be crucial in realizing the full potential of EVs and renewable energy. With continued commitment and investment, the vision of sustainable transportation and energy system powered by clean technologies can be realized, benefiting both current and future generation. Thank you so much for your active participation in this group discussion panel. Can we expect one or two questions from the audience? If audience are there at all? Yeah. Sure. Yeah. I hope, even though it's the lunch hour of Sunday, it's not only the weekend, the back end of the weekend and the lunch hour, I think at least few audiences are there. If I'm not wrong, if any audience is there and if you have any curiosity to know, all renowned professors said they're from different IITs and Professor Roy, we are here, so we'll be happy to answer. Of course, very few questions, because this is a lunchtime, you're all feeling hungry. We don't want to take more questions from you, at least one or two questions we expect from your end, if any question is there at all. These are all new pages and your pen.
We extend our gratitude to respected panel members, Professor Anura Vijayapala sir, Professor Avik Bhattacharya sir, and Professor N.K. Swaminaidu sir for their insightful presence. Thank you very much, sir. Also, we extend our gratitude to Professor C.K. Chanda sir, Professor Prabhat Kumar Rai sir, and Professor Arnab Ghosh sir for all their efforts making the session very productive. This concludes this session. Thank you all.
Thank you, Chair, for your presentation. So next time, if you go in this series, we expect you in person. Professor Bhattacharya and Professor because online meeting is not good, always. At least we have a cup of tea with you all and chit chat. Thank you, professors, for your participation in online. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So we are concluding session here itself. You can leave, share for your lunch.